What's happening, guys? My name is Bobby O'Neill. I'm the pitching guy here with Headbangers Sports, and I'm also the pitching coach here at Azusa Pacific University. In today's video, we're going to be playing a little Fungo Golf and talking about the top 3 ways to improve your velocity. Let's get started. Let's start off with a par 3, and we're going to be aiming at the AP sign out in right center field. Oh no, that's not how we're starting this. This is my damn video. I'll start it however I want. Here we go, first shot. Little ground ball base hit. Obviously, there's no one size fits all model when it comes to throwing hard. And obviously, you don't want to just throw hard at a young age and sacrifice your mechanics or your arm health. But the 3 cues that we're going to be talking about today is mostly centered around teaching you guys how to throw efficiently and how to use your entire body to get the most out of yourself. So don't go into this video assuming that I'm just going to teach you how to throw hard and I don't care about your arm health. I just want to teach you how to throw hard the right way to help prolong your shelf life and help put you in a position to hopefully get to college one day. So the first tip to increasing your velocity has to do with your back leg. When we're coming set and we're beginning to ascend into the top of your leg lift, any instability in your back leg at this point causes energy to leak that we're trying to store as we begin to drive off your back leg. So as we establish a stable back leg and begin to drift your body forward, it's important that we are moving the center of your body here away from your back leg without pushing off. Now, I know a lot of people say to push off with your back leg, but if you actually push off the ground, you're detaching yourself from your power source and you actually lose velocity that way. So rather than pushing off, what I tell my guys is to push into the ground while we begin to drive your leg into its rotational phase right before foot strike. Able to maintain tension in your back leg while you're going into your release point is one of those areas that I see athletes fail at the most. Dinger. I think it's definitely going to be a par day. Hole number 2 is another par 3. We're going to try and land it on the tarp in the visitor's bullpen. That's going to make it tough to get a par 3 right there. I will say that one of the biggest challenges to working on your velocity is that concept and that notion that you have to throw your hardest and throw max effort all the time. One of the most important things that you see at the elite level, especially at the MLB level, is that all those guys make throwing hard look easy and effortless. So rather than trying to move faster in order to throw fast, I think it's super important that you work on trying to be more efficient and try to just get the most out of your body. Try to look for areas in your body that you are leaking energy rather than just focusing on trying to be max effort in every single movement. So the second tip to increase your velocity comes from your hip-shoulder separation. For those of you guys who don't know what hip-shoulder separation is, that's where your lower half rotates while your upper half is building up into this position, so you get a big stretch between your hips and your chest. Now, where I see a lot of athletes failing at this movement is they try to manipulate the upper body to try to get as much hip-shoulder separation, aka just shoulder separation, with their upper body by being really aggressive in their scap load. And the reason they do that is because when you pull back aggressively, you feel your chest stretching back, so you get that sensation of stretching your chest. However, when you do that and you are overly aggressive with your arm early, what happens is your hips don't have a chance to actually rotate because they don't have enough time to rotate. So when we rush our arm up here fast, we get the sensation of twisting, but our hips haven't committed yet, so our hips and our chest are still aiming in this direction, and then everything turns together and we never actually get that stretch up and down our abdomen. The most important thing that I want to say about hip-shoulder separation is it's more about timing and technique and less about speed and power. You want to be relaxed with the upper body as you begin to unwind your lower torso and lower abdomen and hips, so that as you secure the ground with your front leg and as you are turning over and pressing in opposition to the direction you're throwing, the arm is arriving up into this window. It's more about arriving on time and less about ripping into separation. Pars all day, baby. One of my favorite analogies when it comes to talking about velocity is getting on an on-ramp in a car. You're starting at 0 miles an hour, you're trying to get to 65 or 75, but you don't start at 75. So the concept of slowly getting your body to speed up and accelerate, but accelerating smoothly, is one of the key attributes to not leaking energy. Sit, sit. Back-to-back pars, I think I have to make this last one a par 4, so I'm gonna make it a little more challenging. It's a little tough to see because the sun's on my back, but we have a home dugout down the first baseline that has a cubby where we put all of our helmets. The par 4 is gonna be to land it inside of one of those. Oh, there we go, nice. I might be able to get this in 3. Another quick thought on throwing harder. There's a saying that says if you have mass, you're gonna throw gas, and I'm a huge advocate for that. If you're not spending the time you need in the weight room to get yourself stronger to be able to support the amount of velocity that your body's capable of producing, you're probably gonna get hurt. So rather than just focusing on your velocity program where you're doing run and guns and plyo balls, how about you spend your time in the weight room getting stronger, focus on your mobility, focus on your flexibility, and get stronger and throw harder over time, rather than just trying to gain 10 miles an hour on a program you found online. All right, so tip number 3 for improving your velocity has to do with your lead leg block, or your front leg when you're landing. Your front leg serves 2 purposes. One, it acts as the brakes of your body when you're driving into your landing and you're rotating against it. But 2, it acts as a conductor that helps transfer the energy that you're distributing into the ground, and it conducts that energy back up the chain into your body and out through your arm. If at any point in time during your delivery, the energy you're producing is too powerful for your front leg, you're gonna begin to disengage from the ground, either through your heel, your knee, or your hip, and energy stops flowing back up your leg. So as you're approaching your foot strike, if your upper body is too far out in front and you secure the ground here and continue to fall forward, you essentially never really turn that light switch on. So all that power you're creating from your drive leg and from your hip shoulder separation never make their way back up to the ball, and so you're essentially throwing really slow or throwing all arm. So an athlete's ability to use their front leg to secure the ground but then stay in the fight while they're getting into the release point and even their follow through is super important and one of the most underrated aspects of trying to throw harder. I use the toe tap drill a lot to help athletes work on this. Tap. Basically, you want to be throwing off of both legs when you're letting go of the ball. Screw! Par 4, baby. Pars all around. Take care, guys. God bless.